was actually this very disturbing, obviously, in terms of the real threats that we're going to be facing as a country. And Mr. Cifalo, you were talking about penalizing the victims, and I happen to agree with that. You know, we're going after the banks. You didn't, or even the Home Depot, I think, that was cited earlier in terms of the testimony, as opposed to the culprits that are actually perpetrating the crime. But a lot of my concern that I see is when we're looking at the Chinese as an example, we've heard the reports that they've got our plans for the F-35. They're able, not only coming at it from an economic standpoint, but also from a military standpoint as well. And we're talking about the doomsday machine. When we're staying with the football end of this, it's often said that the best offense is a good defense. And so I understand being proactive. How do we find that proper balance? And as a nation, shouldn't we be incredibly concerned if they're able to get into our military-industrial complex to be able to steal some of our best technology, and then we move into the financial end of the world to where our bank accounts are going to be exploited, and then we can shut down the electrical grid as well. How do we get those components together to be able to be on the offense?
Sir, that's a great concern, and I actually share the view that the private sector is very much part of the solution to that. Some of the forms that I mentioned earlier are a rewards program for groups to uncover, identify, and deliver cyber hackers to U.S. courts and authorities, empowering the victims of attacks to sue the perpetrators, and those benefiting directly from cyber infiltrations, just as victims of terrorist attacks can do so today. And also unleashing cyber forensic teams and private litigants and plaintiffs' lawyers against those attacking U.S. systems.
Now, what are we going to do? There's something called sleeper malware that can be put into a system to be activated at a later time. When we're identifying some of the threats that are going to be in place against us, if it's just sitting there, it's latent, it's not doing anything, can we identify that now?
Congressman, that's actually an excellent point, because most breaches today occur or through vulnerabilities in your supply chain or third-party vendors. And until you start looking at this issue holistically, that is a legitimate vulnerability we need to be thinking about. I might also note, though, the defense industrial base, they do have unique pilots vis-a-vis information sharing with the public and the private sector, with government, along with the financial services sector. I think they're up there. But even they, as we saw, have been successfully hacked, whether it's RSA, you name the entity, they've been hacked to one extent or another. I'm going to take a different approach. I think the economic instruments here could be very valuable and useful. I actually think China long-term will have enough to lose that they will recognize that there is some change in behavior that they need to consider and think about. Unfortunately, it's not there now. They're seeing immediately in front of them, why spend billions in R&D if we can just steal it and spend it on gaining market share? But at some point, they will have market share that they're really concerned about, that I do think that could level it out a little bit, which is different than actors that want to cause harm, so that are driven, and I'm not suggesting China doesn't, because they are investing in military technologies as well, but that's something we need to be thinking about.
Do we have an issue as a country when we're having software, as an example, maybe being written in China, coming into our country, and then we start bringing into the component of it, trust your employees. We've got technology that we're using in our systems right now that's being written overseas. Is that something we need to examine?
Yes, sir, that's absolutely a concern. And in fact, the top-end attackers, when they realize they can't get into a target technically using a cyber component, they try to get their nationals hired as programmers in sensitive companies.
And secure coding, that's something the U.S. ought to be investing in. I mean, if we built planes the way we code for software, none of us would ever fly. So at the end of the day, there are initiatives from a STEM education standpoint that we can be looking at in terms of secure coding and the like.
There are companies out there like my own, which is looking very much at the inside threat, which a compromised system would be, so that when that malicious software fires up, that it's identified within the system. So there are tools and techniques out there to identify those problems. not foolproof, but they exist and getting better.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My time's expired. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back.